So if you want to share a little bit about how your journey leading up to starting Brighter View Foundation.
Oh, wow. Way back when I was a little bitty girl. I'm teasing. So, I have a background in healthcare, senior care nursing. Really passionate about youth and foster care. To help my way through college, healthcare was my major, and I did childcare on the side, I thought, to, help offset the costs. Never been a real 9-to-5 type person and happy at the same time. So that was my way to make extra money, and it turned into a career, 15 years in the childcare industry. Had a couple childcare group homes, childcare centers, and so I think my niche is people. And so as I developed in the field and found a passion for individuals with special needs and started working with some other organizations, volunteering, and then took it on as a profession, and then got blessed to become a mom to an extra special little one, and then my eyes really opened about advocating and doing more in the future I want to create for her, and been working at it passionately.
Can you touch a little bit about what the main goal is for Brighter View Foundation?
The main goal is twofold. For the individuals that we serve with special needs is to give those adults opportunities at independent living. So that includes job creation, self-help skills, socialization in the community. Unfortunately, our system has turned to a mode of what people can't do and just kind of confined living. So I'd like to create a better perspective and more opportunities for adults. My daughter is 10, so it seems like I have a little time, but it's a right now issue that hopefully in the future won't be an issue. Second folded is for families with a special need individual in the home. I don't think we as a society give enough attention to the extra demands that it takes in offering support to those families. Again, I'm well rehearsed in the industry, but being a mother to a child and navigating the system was very eye-opening. So we really try to focus on offering that additional support, siblings in the family, and, some of our outreaches are, whether it's food, clothing, social engagement, but really just being there as a friend and an ally and figuring out the rest from there. So that's what I get to work to do every day.
What are some difficulties that you guys face?
So I have been in business, the traditional, for-profit model. The goal is to make money. And the nonprofit was really heartfelt and kind of a push from God. And so I just kind of ran into it, but running a nonprofit is very different. So, again, opening up myself to people asking for money or asking for support has always been a big no for me, because I've always just made it happen. And so, that's a different mindset. So, just putting myself in a position to receive the support that the nonprofit division needs, and learning the ins and outs of running a nonprofit while doing it. Like, I didn't prepare well, I'll say. But, the business of nonprofit is very much a separate type business model that is to be respected and highly regulated. So, learning those ropes while doing the good work that the heart wants to do is a little challenging, but we learn and we grow.
What are some things that you wish other people understood more about the nonprofit space?
How much we depend on them. Seriously, I know there's, the big narrative that there's all this grant money and that everybody's just giving money. And that's not always the case. And when we look at it, there are many ways built in for us to help make money, but that's also dependent upon the community support. So whether it's giving money, giving time, showing up to things, advocating, sharing your thoughts, like all of that is valuable to a nonprofit. A dollar here, a dollar there. Of course, we're known for asking for money, but it's so much more than that. Your leadership, your experience, serving on boards, volunteering, those are huge things that help offset costs. And, just giving a little bit of time. I know it's valuable, irreplaceable, but it's that much more valuable to us as nonprofits.
Can you share some stories? Because I bet you have a lot. to choose from. But if you want to share some stories of where you guys were really able to help out a community of people or anyone specifically that's something that really brought you joy.
Yeah, that's my heartbeat. And that's the part that kind of keeps us grounded. So I'm going to just use today, for example. So my staff, my team, my board, we've had a rough few years of just go, 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 go. And so December, we decided to close for 2 weeks to reset the store, reset our mind, enjoy the holidays with family. Well, 6 months later, the store is not fully open. So we've been working and restructuring, reorganize. We've been doing the work, but that is the piece that the community gets to come in. And so we've reopened for the summer. We have some interns through the City of Phoenix Rise program, and people are so happy to see us open. They've been worried about us. They've been stopping by in our absence, and sometimes I'm in the office, I'm there, but I'm hiding out in the back doing paperwork and all the things. And so just to hear that, the work that we do is appreciated in the community, because you don't often hear that. You don't often see that. And so now that, we're there part-time still, now I feel like this urge, like, oh my gosh, I took this piece away from the community, and I'm kind of like, but I love every time someone comes, but here's the catch-22. If I'm working and I need to get things done, and then people come in, they want my attention. So I'm feeling this tug and pull of how do I balance both? Because, the stories that they share when they come in and they're like excited to have a job interview and they want us to help dress them. That's the fun part for me, but it doesn't necessarily keep the lights on. So I struggle often with how do I balance my time with, being there and in front of the people and giving them the full attention that they desire, and running an organization and keeping things afloat. But so many families, we do a monthly food box distribution, third Thursdays. And it's about all we can handle right now. We'd like to do more. We partner with St. Mary's, but the people that come, the volunteers that come and just run it, they take ownership, like they're my boss. Like I had to run it inadvertently one Thursday, and they were like, where's this? How do we do it? And I was like, how do you usually do it? How do you normally do it? Like that was my fallback, but they just pick up the pieces. And so when you have people that come and just buy into your vision like that, even when you're unsure of yourself, that's the reassurance you need day by day. So there's just so many stories of just families and good times that we create. And I'm realizing that when I take that away, that is really missed. So it feels great. It's the motivation that keeps you going. Each of those stories that come in and in some kind of way say we've helped them, we've impacted them, or just listening to people is huge. So many people are carrying so much weight. And when they're appreciative of that, I have to take a step back and be like, okay, I'll do paperwork tonight. Yeah. And that rolls over into the next day. But nonetheless, that's the purpose. And so I just trust and believe in the mission, of course, but just knowing that God will bless us in the end. And so that takes a crazy amount of faith. But hey, we're rocking and rolling. We turned 5 this year, so I'm proud.
Yeah, I like what you said at the end of like, it takes a crazy amount of faith.
Yes.
Yeah, because with any like business or entrepreneurial journey, it does require that of like unreasonable amount of just belief that it's going to work. Because on paper, often when you're starting out or when you're just starting a program or anything, it feels like, is this going to work? Is people going to actually like join us in this journey? Or people going to buy our services? So that was amazing. But
and the highs and the lows. I think sometimes we start out with so much energy, because I think the entrepreneurial journey isn't really told right, but then if they told it right, nobody would want to do it truly. So it's kind of sold as an American dream, but you don't really account for the true amount of hours and dedication and continuing knowledge that you have to acquire to just stay afloat. So in the beginning, everybody's like, gun ho, yay, you're doing it, I gotcha. And then there's those days where there's nobody, and you have to know how to kind of pray, keep yourself uplifted. Okay, strategize, figure this out, or do I quit, or do I? And I mean, it would be a lie to say that those thoughts don't go through your mind. Should I be over here? Should I accept this job offer? Like now that I'm kind of out there and people see what I'm doing, I get crazy job offers that I never got before. And I'm like, you want to pay me how much to do what? But then it's like, but then I have to turn away from this yearning desire that I feel to see, and I see the end result. I really see what I'm working towards, but that road to get there is
ups and downs,
yeah,
sideways.
it's a little bit of every way.
Sometimes you gotta take a step back.
Yeah, to see if you can see the grand horizon.
Yeah.
So the vision is great, but sometimes I'm like, geez, I could just go make some money.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do believe that like the punches that we receive, they're not talked about enough. I don't think there's no business that hasn't taken a punch, and all businesses have different types of struggles and different difficulties, but we definitely learn and get stronger from those.
Right.
I feel like it's definitely, a key part of becoming better business people.
Absolutely.
So I definitely had my learnings too, but I want to, you already mentioned a couple of programs that you guys do, but I want to hear a little bit about the bird's eye view of like what you guys do. I know you guys have a lot of events, annual events, weekly drives, your thrift store. If you can go a little bit more about the overall stuff you guys do again.
Okay. Yeah. And I can finally say it's a lot, but it's actually streamlined because in my perfect world, it'd be everything. But, the things that the foundation does is really just to help people. And I think we take for granted who and where we need help. So typically, like our food box distribution and hygiene, we focus on the less fortunate, the homeless, those, living out there. And sometimes we just look at those drastic situations. So we are compassionate about that. And I do have a team member who's really passionate, thankfully, about that. So she heads that mission. But then also through our CREED program, which is our education and development, professional development. And this is where we are helping people get to the next level. Again, speaking of those struggles of entrepreneurship, and I know it's the same struggles in a career path
definitely.
and climbing up the corporate ladder. So either way it goes, when you're trying to elevate yourself, that big step up is a big step, no matter which route you decide to take. So we work on professional development and those who want to be entrepreneurs, and just kind of hopefully help them not hit so many stones, or at least when they do hit a stone, be able to be there to help guide them in the right path or connect them with other people that can help them further than us. So that's our CREED in education. And we start with our kids. So our next event is our Kids Business Expo. So we do this 2 to 3 times a year. It just depends on how the year shapes out for us, but twice a year usually. And we highlight youth businesses. And again, the parents behind the scene highlighting our children's business. Like my daughter, she makes candles and crafts, but those are the kind of activities I use to keep her stimulated. So to offset supply costs, we sell a couple things, but it's turning into a real business for her. So we'll have Mia Brooks with WAFED in this time teaching some financial literacy and hopefully, helping these families see how to take these extra dollars that they're making to long run, how to make it benefit the family. So our Kid Biz Expo is coming up. It's going to be great. Each time it get better. Love to see the kids and all their spunk. So there's that. So I talked about CREED, of course, Miracles Boutique. I just think thrift store shopping shouldn't have such a negative connotation. So it does help us generate revenue, but also it's where people who've been out of work, second chance employment, getting you used to that, being on a schedule and being diligent and all of those things. Our adults with disability is an employment opportunity for them. We treat it as more than a thrift store, so it's a boutique. And so we want to teach videography, how to run an online store, merchandising. So we're taking these job fields that, it's a thrift store, but all the pieces it takes to run it. And if you're passionate about that, then it's a place where you can bounce all of those things off, learn the craft, and it helps us and it helps that individual grow and highlight their skills. So there's lots of facets to thrift storing. I shop at my thrift store, so we have very nice goods. We like to teach sewing, some of those old school things, repurposing clothes, how to refashion clothes in a thrift store. So we touch on modeling, hair, makeup, presentation. So there's so many things that the cover of it is a thrift store, but it is like everything for us. It's the fun place. It's where all the good stuff gets to happen, it seems. So when you're giving to Brighter View Foundation and Miracles Boutique, just know that our purpose is to use everything, and we're teaching and using those materials along the way. And then the final stop is we redistribute it to other organizations, especially those with helping people with second chance or behavioral health and all that. Because when you look good, you feel good. At least I do. So we really try to highlight that and have really good quality merchandise and teach skills along the way so that people can sustain. Things are getting really, really expensive in our society. So we have to, learn how to, I don't want to use the word budget, but for those on a budget,
yeah, we all are in some way.
Right. How to keep the things in life, the essence going. And then, a big piece for me is I've been a part of many missions where we're out there giving in the streets, and you're just kind of giving, and we're doing a great thing. I don't discredit it, but I also take into consideration sometimes shopping is therapy for me. I miss the 24-hour late night, get up in the middle of the night, okay, I'm going to just go browse the racks and look for a deal. So, there's some therapy in that, and you want to give people an opportunity to come in and say, yeah, I know you got this whole box of goods, but I just need this, and right now. And there's a sense of dignity in that for people. So we're always kind of trying to take poverty in a different light because, it's really a village taking care of each other. And when we do that, then poverty doesn't seem so bad. So, there's that. And then the events are always family friendly because, again, I'm a family with your typical child, a special needs child. Sometimes it's difficult, certain environments. There's a different it's weird sometimes what could trigger someone that has, your autism spectrums and different, this light might be fine for you, but it kicks off a sensory issue. And now everybody in the atmosphere is looking at you kind of weird. It's a little disheartening. So we try to create an environment, or I create an environment where, my family feel comfortable and we invite everybody else, kind of my family to yours. So, again, we have the Kid Biz Expo coming up. Then that runs us into the Halloween season with candies, crafts, and costumes. So everything I do has some kind of educational, artsy component to it. So yes, Halloween, but no, a little bit more. That rolls us into Thanksgiving, giving season, and, our food box distributions will hopefully be greater and really supporting families to have that great time together, which goes into our annual Motown Christmas, which is just us recreating the Christmas of childhood. We partner with many organizations and give families toys, and we have different stations. We do hot cocoa and decorate cookies and gingerbread and just have a really great day. Pictures of Santa. You've been to it. We just really try to have good family fun. And I think being here in Arizona, there's a lot of transplants and a lot of families that have moved away, including mine. So when you get to create that big family feel, that was the best part of Christmas for me. So yeah, the toys are great. They last a day or two, but that togetherness and the activities and the memories that you create are the best. So that's what we try to do with Motown Christmas every year. And it's fabulous. We love it. And then after that, we try to take a break.
Yeah.
Try. Reset for the next year. So yeah, I don't know if it's a break. We're always planning for the next greater, better, how to streamline. So yeah.
I think you guys are doing something unique, even in the nonprofit space. I haven't met too many other nonprofit owners or businesses that kind of do what you guys do. And I want to know what you have personally learned from starting this. How long has it been since you guys, you might have said this, but how long has it been Brighter View Foundation?
5 years.
5 years. So this 5 years before starting it now, if something that, you've learned about life or you learned about society or something that you have had like a aha moment, if you could share it with us, what would that be?
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with how I came to this point. So I volunteer for many organizations, community outreach. I believe it should be a fabric of our life because, again, the village mindset. So one day, I love this backyard scenery. This is what I like to do to start my morning. I'm sitting on my backyard looking out into the trees and having a cup of coffee. And it was kind of like this itching to start Brighter View Foundation, but I was like, all the no's. Oh my gosh, how can I? Because mind you, I have a for-profit business that I've been doing for years in social services. So to take on a whole nonprofit was kind of like, yeah, because I see this niche that's missing within the organizations I volunteer. So I do believe I have value to add, but gosh, do I want to do this? And this is seriously me talking, sometimes my mind thinketh and my mouth say it inadvertently. So me talking with God, and I'm looking across a green tree, and this hummingbird flies right to me, stops in my face, and just... So I'm like, okay, God, I guess that's the sign that I asked for, because that's weird.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
like just jutted up. So I took that as my sign. I hope I didn't miss the mark, but I think, we've been doing okay so far. So that's really what made me just say, okay, I'm going to start learning this new path, figuring this out. Yes, we're going to do this. But the awareness of the advocacy needed. So, a lot of the things I spoke of are really social, really family oriented, and just, the fun that we try to create in this mystical realm of everybody working together and kumbaya, which is great. But behind the scenes, not to get too super political, behind the scenes, the advocacy that needs to take place for some of these things to be normalized in our society. Some of the bills that are not really productive for the people. And I'm not going to get too political, but we have to take ownership in what's happening in our government, because it's we the people. So if our government is failing, if our programs aren't being properly served, if our communities are lacking, I take personal accountability in that, because we the people. So where are we? Why are we seeing such what we consider horrendous things in society when our government seems to pass around a whole lot of money? So I take it back to we the people, and I start with me. So I think that has been the real learning part, because we really in the nonprofit space are solving a social issue that we see. I think every founder comes into it really heartfelt for whatever their mission is, or whatever piece of the program that they want to tackle. So, but I think we take for granted that behind the scenes, there's a force that's stirring this pot that makes this need for nonprofits. So I think that's a big reason why I'm like, nonprofits, we have to work together. I don't see any other nonprofit as a competitor of any sort. It's the unity of us. We're serving humanity, which is a huge charge, and it takes each of us doing a piece, because no one can solve every issue as much as we would like to. I think that's one of my problems. I want to solve them all, but I have to realize that there's only 24 hours in a day, and that's a lot for some people, and it's not enough for me. So I think that awareness and that ability to kind of pull people together and, highlight issues, but in a positive way, to make it a call to action, not just another complaint coming out or another blind eye, or that's just the way it is. We kind of get complacent as a society, and we can't do anything. Oh, that's just how it is. And that's not always the case, but we don't really take a close enough look at what's causing some of these issues and what we can personally do, because everybody can do something. And it makes life better for all of us, no matter what your economic status or social awareness is. We're all impacted by the same issues. It might not be you personally, but someone next to you. We all walk by it, drive by it. We see it in our societies. And I mean, how can it not hurt?
No, I really appreciate that. That's some, special insight that you uniquely can share a little bit, that I really think that a lot of us might not, it's easy to brush off, like you said.
Yeah.
If anyone's actually listening to every single episode to the fullest, I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. But that we might, I might be repeating, but I'm just trying to get everyone's perspective, because I think it's an important topic about family. And I guess to you, you have obviously we have lovely Victoria next to us, and what does, how does she impact your life?
Oh, wow. That's huge. She's the driving force. I have a daughter who turned 18 yesterday. Woo. So I've always had that. And I think being in childcare, I'm a nurturer. I didn't want to believe it, but I guess I am. So I've always, been strong in that family element and trying to create the perfect family in my mind. And I've come to realize that doesn't exist. Your family is what it is, but you are what makes it perfect. So for me, I have two wonderful daughters. A lot of the stuff that we get to do through the center are stuff I do with my family. I'm an excessive shopper, so the thrift store makes sense. I'm guilty. But I do like fashion. I do like to change up. My girls, I'm as long as all the parts are covered, wear what you like. Mm-hmm. So we can some days have eclectic fashion sense. Yeah. So, I embrace it all. The arts and crafts and just, the coming togetherness are all pieces of my family threads. And so it's me now in life, probably kind of missing some of that childhood unity. And I say it's the weirdest thing because we didn't grow up with money, but we didn't know we were the poor kids. So I think that's just, paying homage to my parents and, their struggles not necessarily being passed on to the kids. And I think what every parent does is try to hide the bad, but give the best of what you have to your children. And I think that's just pretty much, how I view the family. I'm definitely financially more blessed than my parents were, but I also see the benefit of having time. So my work is engulfed in my children. They might not appreciate that as much as I thought they would, but they'll learn to love it one day.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. I don't know. Is there anything that you want to share with the world? Some stuff that I didn't ask, but something that's been on your mind recently?
Oh God. Don't ask me what's been on my mind
I don't know,
recently.
We can just have a free conversation, anything.
I try to be politically correct, y'all. But no, I just think the importance and to make sure that, I know I'm trying to check myself on this, you're constantly asking for support, but also making sure you're there to be a support. I think that's the bigger piece in society that's missing. We do all of these great things, put on all these great events, and they're heartfelt. And of course, I think they're great. I'm creating them, right? But just making sure that if it's not that, or, that I'm being there to support the individual pieces. Sometimes in business, I know me personally, I get caught up in, these are the hours I'm available to you, and that's it. You do have to turn off self, but then also for people in life that need you or you could be a blessing to, sometimes there's no clock. So, just really, really, really paying attention to when someone's calling upon you. And it might not always be a call, I need help, or I need money, or I need
it
this.
Might be in different styles,
right? But just being in tune with the people that are around you. So sometimes just a friendly comment, hello there, not just someone begging. And being aware, just really being socially aware of each other. I think that's a big piece. We're all moving so fast. Social media is so dominant. Laundry list of things to do. Trust me, I'm guilty. So when I say that, but just really being cautious to be present with people. We really cannot lose that perspective. So and business is business. I'm a serial entrepreneur at heart. So Brighter View Foundation is definitely my heartfelt mission. It's what I love to do, what I get to do. But behind the scenes of that, I have, businesses, homes that we manage, teams that are pressing for expansion and what's next. So I'm, 100% a business owner, navigating many fields in business and just trying to create opportunities for people. So sometimes it becomes a little overwhelming. So when you have the opportunity for a sit down with someone such as yourself or someone to take you out of your element to really be reflective, it's great. I do a good job of holding it all together, as many of us do, and that goes back to my point of just being aware, because sometimes people are literally holding it together by a thread, and we take that and run with it, and we don't really take an opportunity to really dive deeper and really get into the heart of people. So in all that we do, that's a piece that I would hope is remembered. Yeah.
I was I really appreciate everything you shared with us today, because I think even from the conversation that we just had, I feel a deep level of compassion coming from you. And I think you as an individual, or we people, anyone needs to experience. If you haven't, let me try to rephrase that. If you haven't experienced pain, it's difficult to understand other people's pain.
Right.
Yeah, and I think you're doing a tremendous amount of job, like to understand other people's pain and really help them out. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, that's a sweet perspective. I like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's just a testament to the pains and struggles in my life. So I do tell people, though, everything I give is something that I need. So I think we have to be vulnerable enough to acknowledge that. So when I'm giving a fun event, or the thrift store or the food bank, at some point in life I've experienced these things, and it doesn't always feel good. And even though there's lots of help and support there, we're sometimes shameful for needing it, and it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. I agree. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. So that's the perspective I try to bring to it, because there are days to where thankfully I had that support, and I had to humble myself and receive that support. And we look at that so negative, but being on the other side of that now, like you say, you remember those pains, but I want people to feel okay getting help. Yeah. It's there. Yeah. Tons of great organizations in the Valley across the world doing great things. We have envisionment of spreading multi-state, taking it into different territories. So to me, that's a great thing to hear someone across the country say, hey, we need a brighter view over here. You should come here. I'm like, okay, wow. So I know at the end of the day, regardless of the pain, the struggles, and all the growing pains that we're going through, that it's a great thing and people see value in it. So that is enough for me. Yeah.
Because you really never know what people are going through.
Right.
Yeah. And like you said, some people are hanging by that thread. It's because you really don't know how what happened. Like life happens. Yeah. Like I really truly do believe that life happens. Like, I don't know, some things you can't explain. Life just happens.
Yeah. Like $4 at the pump. Lord have mercy. I don't care who you are. That don't feel good. Every time I fill up, I get a whole lot of steps just going back and forth. Like, when is it going to stop? Funny. When is it going to stop? So
see, we're gonna end it there. After a great conversation, it's gonna be $4 at the gas pump. That's where we end the podcast.
Hey, we're all in this struggle together.
Well, thank you so much, Shantoya. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.